The red taxi rolled to a slow, uneasy stop under the flicker of a broken streetlight. It was just past midnight, one of those hours where the city felt like it was holding its breath. Carl sat in the back seat, his knee bouncing uncontrollably. At 24, he liked to think he had things under control. Tonight, that illusion was cracking. Beside him, Marie leaned against the door, arms folded, eyes fixed straight ahead. She hadn't said a word since the siren went off behind them. Up front, Nicholas, the cab driver, gripped the steering wheel tighter than necessary. He had driven hundreds of passengers through these streets. This was supposed to be just another fare. The police officer tapped on the window. "Step out of the vehicle." Minutes later, the quiet night shattered. A small, tightly wrapped package, hidden under the back seat. Drugs. Not a small amount either. Enough to turn a routine stop into a serious crime. And just like that, all three lives collided.
They were taken in separately. Carl went first. "I don't know anything about that," he said, running a hand through his hair. "We just called a cab, that's it." "Where were you coming from?" the officer asked. "A party, my friend's place." "What friend?" Carl hesitated for just a second too long. "Just a friend?" Marie's turn. Her voice was calm. Too calm. "I didn't even notice anything under the seat," she said. "We got in, we sat down, that's all." "You expect us to believe that?" the detective pressed. She looked him straight in the eye. "Believe whatever you want. It's the truth. Then Nicholas." "This is my job," he said, almost offended. "People get in, people get out. I don't check under seats every time." "Anyone suspicious tonight?" He paused. 3 days. No one budged. No fingerprints on the package. Whoever handled it had been careful. No cameras clearly showing the inside of the cab. No witnesses. Just 3 people. 1 lie. Or maybe 3. Tension built. Carl started getting restless. He asked for a lawyer, then changed his story slightly. Said the party wasn't really a party, more like a small gathering. Marie stayed steady. Too steady. Niklas began sweating more with each question. Something wasn't right.
On the 4th day, the police brought Carl back in. "We found something," the detective said casually, placing a photo on the table. It was from a street camera. Carl and Marie getting into the taxi. But Carl froze. "Play it again," he said. The officer did. There, just before Marie stepped in, someone brushed past the open door. A shadowy figure. Too quick to identify. But Carl leaned forward. That wasn't there before. They showed her the same footage. For the first time, her composure slipped. "That doesn't prove anything," she said quickly. "No," the detective replied, "but it proves something happened." Silence. Then, "I didn't put anything in that car," she said. "But you saw something, didn't you?" Marie looked down and said nothing. That night, Niklas asked to speak. "I remembered something," he said quietly. The officers leaned in. "There was a man earlier, before I picked them up. He sat in the back, didn't say much, paid cash, got out in a hurry." "Why didn't you mention this before?" "I didn't think it mattered. But it did. Because now there was a 4th person. An unknown." The police tracked nearby cameras again, this time earlier that night. They found him. The same shadowy figure.
Getting into Nicholas's cab. Getting out. But here's the problem. When he got out, he didn't leave empty-handed. He was carrying a bag the same size as the package found. So how did the drugs end up under the seat afterward?
On the 6th day, they brought all three into one room. No more separate stories, no more silence. The detective placed the footage on the screen. "Here's what we know," he said. "The package wasn't in the car before that man left, so it had to be placed after." He turned slowly. "Which means one of you is lying." Carl looked at Marie. Marie looked at Nicholas. Nicholas stared at the floor. Then Marie spoke.
"You're looking at the wrong moment," she said softly. Everyone turned to her. "The man didn't leave the drugs," she continued. "He took something." Silence filled the room. "What do you mean?" the detective asked. Marie took a breath. "When we got in, Carl asked me to switch seats." Carl's head snapped toward her. "What?" "You said you felt sick," she went on. "You didn't want to sit behind the driver." "I did feel sick," Carl snapped. Marie ignored him. "When I moved, I felt something under the seat. A package." The room went still. "And you didn't say anything?" the detective asked. "I panicked," she said. "I thought it was Carl's." Carl stood up. "What?" "You'd been acting strange all night," she fired back. "Taking calls, disappearing. What was I supposed to think? I didn't put anything there." "Then why switch seats?" Carl hesitated. That hesitation was enough.
Carl slowly sat back down. His voice dropped. It wasn't supposed to be like this. No one spoke. "I owed someone money," he admitted. "They told me to pick up a package. Just hold it for a bit. That's it." Marie's face went pale. "I didn't want you involved," he said quietly. "That's why I switched seats. I thought if anything happened, it wouldn't trace back to you." "And the man?" the detective asked. Carl nodded. "He must have panicked. Took his part. Left mine behind."
Carl was charged. Marie was released, shaken but free. Nicholas returned to his taxi, though he never drove late nights again. And the mysterious man? Never found. But sometimes, late at night, when a cab slows under a flickering streetlight, it feels like the city still remembers. Carl was charged. Marie was released, shaken but free. Nicholas returned to his taxi,